Thank you. I guess I just need to say amen and go sit back down after that introduction. Thank you, Dr. Dixon. I will tell you, from here all the way to the halls of Washington, D.C., your Chancellor, Dr. Kerry Dixon, is making waves. I just want to say thank you for the great work you're doing here as well. My wife, as you heard, is a two-time graduate. She's a Ram. I represent the Aggies, so around football season, it gets a little difficult on a particular Saturday in our house, but we work on that, work through some of that. I will say, I want to thank Pastor Fairby, that the other guy wearing the suit, I don't think those robes are breathing too much right now, so I'm glad you got a suit and got my back on back here. But anyway, I want to talk about just a few things with you today, especially graduates, and really it applies to all of us here today. Three things I want you to think about today, and I'm going to break them down and unpack them just a little bit for about 10 minutes here. I want you to reflect on the past, I want you to celebrate the present, and I want you to prepare for the future. So let's get into that just a little bit. First of all, I want you to think about reflecting on the past. Take a minute, even right now, reflect on the past. How did you get here? What people contributed to you being here? What were the opportunities that were provided? If I was to ask everyone, whether it's the balcony or the ground floor, even on stage, to think back in your past and reflecting on it, what was the highlight of your life so far? If I was to ask you that, what would it be as you think about right now? What was that moment, the highlight, something that was so impactful to your life that maybe it was life-changing? But I could also ask, what's the low point? What's a place in your life that was so painful, that was so hurtful? What are those moments that define you? Do you take a moment to reflect on those things? I've had some wonderful opportunities in the 5 years that I have served in Congress, and certainly doing some work with HBCUs, but probably one of the highlights is getting invited and walking across the bridge there in Selma with my friend John Lewis. What moments are those that we have in this life to reflect on the past? But as you do reflect on the past, let me also caution you or give you a word of wisdom, if I could please, this morning, is don't get stuck in the past. Many times, even good things or even difficult things, we reflect on them to the place that it begins to hold us back as far as moving forward sometimes. I can even remember in high school, we had a chance to win a state championship, and we did, and that was more years ago than I wish to add up, 34 I think now, 30, 33. But there are some times when we go back, I look at some of my friends and wish them well, but that's still the moment in their life that defined them. There are some other friends that I've seen have gone through tragic situations, and the heartbreak was so heavy that at times it weighed you down to the place that you did not continue to fulfill the very specific giftedness or calling that God has put on your life. Reflect on the past, but don't let it hold you back. Not only reflect on the past, but also take the time to celebrate the present. My wife has to remind me of this because I'm always looking at what's next. It's okay to take a few minutes specifically today and celebrate the present, is it not? Think about the friendships you've made. Think about the relationships that you've made. Think about the investment that has been made by a lot of these people sitting behind you. It's okay to celebrate the present today. There's been so much hard work in this. It's okay to stop and smell the roses. Take a moment to do that. Reflect on the blessings in your life that allowed you to accomplish something incredible today. Don't be afraid. Not only reflect on the past, but also to celebrate the present. Think about it. Think about the people in your life that have put you in this place to go and do something amazing. Celebrate this moment today. Catch your breath for just a second and reflect on so much that has defined where you are today. But not only do I want you to celebrate the present, and this is where I want to spend the bulk of my time today. Reflect on the past, celebrate the present, but begin to prepare for the future. This very day, prepare for the future. ECSU has done their part. They've made the investment, okay? You guys are walking out of here with this esteemed degree. You're ready to move forward. But it's your turn. It's your time to take up the ball and run down the field with it. Today, I cannot promise you very much. I cannot promise you fame. I cannot promise you fortune. I can't promise you a good life. The only thing that I can guarantee that you will face in the days ahead is one thing, and that's adversity. That's it. That's the only thing that I can promise you. How are you going to handle that adversity? Are you thinking about it already? Are you preparing that? Listen, there's going to be people in your life that tell you that you're not good enough. You didn't come from the right side of the tracks. You didn't go to the right school. You didn't know the right people. You don't have the connections in Raleigh. You don't have the connections in DC. Whatever it might be, there's going to be people in your life that tell you that you can't accomplish what you believe in your heart that you were designed and created to accomplish. You don't have to listen to that. Are you preparing for that adversity today? Are you preparing for people to say, no, you can't, knowing in your heart that yes, you can? Are you preparing for that adversity today? Listen, when you move forward in life, and maybe this is the former pastor in me a little bit coming out. I guess that's okay here at Elizabeth City State University. All right, fair enough. But let me say this, all right? I am convinced that sometimes God can't use you to your fullest until you've been completely broken. Can I tell you that today? All right? Some of you may be going through some of that now. Some of that may be planned in the days ahead. But if you're preparing, if you're ready to embrace that adversity, you're going to be able to walk through it. Listen, what's the toughest kind of adversity sometimes people ask me? Over the years in ministry or in politics, as Congress, or just life in general, and maybe some of you would agree with this, the toughest type of adversity that you'll ever face is the ability to forgive. Okay? Because there's going to be people in your life that do some things that are unfair, unjust, and may I dare even say ungodly to you in your life the days ahead. How are you going to handle that? Are you going to be able to find a place that you're able to give it back and keep marching on? Are you going to let that pull you down and shrink you and miss God's very best for your life? You don't have to do that, but let me tell you, it takes discipline to forgive. I remember being invited to Charleston, South Carolina about 3.5 years ago, to the memorial service for those victims of an act of terror and hate at Mother Emanuel Church. I don't know that I have seen a more humanly display of forgiveness than what I saw by those remaining parishioners at Mother Emanuel. I'm a former pastor. I don't know that I could get there. But what they displayed and what they showed is they were not going to be defined by an act of hate because they still had life to live. So when life throws us such dysfunction, or when life throws us such a curveball, how do you process that? I remember I had a chance to play quarterback in high school, and the coach, I don't even know if they use this drill anymore. It may not be politically correct anymore. I don't know. But it was called Bull in the Ring, all right? Some of you may know what I'm talking about. Now, I didn't know why, as the quarterback, I needed to mix it up like that, but evidently there was some moral value the coach was trying to get through to me. But they would put you in a circle, right? And you would have the ball, and the coach would call one of the numbers, number 22. So you'd get your center of gravity. When you'd be 22, you kind of hit full speed, your shoulder pads. 44 over here. 67. In your mind, you're thinking 67 was this way. 67 wasn't that way. It was this way. And some of you guys that know football or play, if you can't get turned around and you get hit right in that ear hole, it will ring your bell, all right? Now, what does that have to do with this? Well, here's my point. When we expect or we see something coming that's going to be tough, we kind of have a moment to embrace it, you know what I'm saying? But when it hits you blindside, oh, that's a whole different ball game. Especially when it comes from inside the camp. Sometimes when it comes from friends or family, you're not expecting it from that direction, and that will take you off your feet. But how are you going to bounce back from that? You're going to carry that for the rest of your life? I have seen, even doing funerals, that family members on one side, family members on the other, something even little, but they carried it for 40, 50 years. Think about the wasted space and the wasted life. So I tell you today, as you begin to prepare for the future, be ready to forgive. Be ready to let it go. Because the other person, they're not thinking about what they've done to you. They're moving on. So you might as well move on forward as well. Did you hear me this morning? As I wrap up my thoughts today, don't put limitations. Don't put margins on what you're able to accomplish the very way that you were created. Sometimes we define ourselves, put our own ceiling on our own limitations. Don't do that. You can move forward. It was it, now this was probably when you were in middle school. I'm thinking right now, was it Kelly Clarkson who said, what doesn't kill you makes you? Some of you listen to that stuff. Listen, here's the point I'm making. T.D. Jakes said it best. Is it going to make you bitter or is it going to make you better? strive to be better this morning. That's the goal here as you prepare for the future. In wrapping up, let me say something just that I carry with me, kind of in my phone, used to be in my wallet. It's kind of faded at this point. It says, I love the man that can smile in trouble, that can gather strength from distress, and grow brave by reflection. 'Tis the busyness of little minds to shrink, but whose heart is firm and whose conscience supports his or her conduct will pursue their principles until death. That's what I want to leave with you this morning as you begin to move forward on this special day. Reflect on the past, celebrate the present, and may God give you the strength to prepare for the future. God bless you today. Thanks for letting me have a few minutes with you this morning. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much.